Gute Woche. This Shabbos Parshas Noach the Rebbe Farbrengen, and he spoke 5 sichas. To give an overview of the sichas, before we'll mention the overview, we'll also mention the heroes directives that the Rebbe has mentioned in the course of the Farbrengen. One of the heroes was that a person should make a cheshbon tzedek, based on what the Frierdiker Rebbe has mentioned in regards to Shabbos Breishis, that this is the Shabbos that as a person positions himself on Shabbos Breishis, this is the way it goes on for the whole year, because the first Shabbos is the general Shabbos for the whole year, Shabbos Breishis. So therefore a person should also make a cheshbon tzedek, to take in a cheshbon where an account what's happening with him and what did he do and how did he utilize this full week from Shabbos Breishis to Shabbos Noach. A second hero was that the Rebbe mentioned very much and very strongly about in more than one sicha was the inyan of Kiddush Levana. That there are others that are not careful with the mitzvah of Kiddush Levana, and therefore everybody should see to it to make the inyan of Kiddush Levana, to recite the bracha for Kiddush Levana, which is usually recited after the 7th day of the month. And an overview, to mention also an overview of the sichas. In the first sicha, the Rebbe has mentioned the qualities that we have in this Shabbos, considering the Shabbos Noach itself, and also the introduction to Shabbos Lech Lecha, also considering the year we find ourselves in, and also coming from the month of Tishrei, which has its unique qualities. And in the second sicha, and also in the third and the fourth sicha, the Rebbe referred to the sicha in regards to the inyan of the cheshbon tzedek, that a person takes in account what he has to do and what is there to do, and what he takes upon himself for the new year from Shabbos Breishis. This is the nucleus and foundation for the whole year, and therefore if there is a need and there is a need for inyan of repentance, tshuva, that also should be done in its fullest measure. And in this, within the spirit of Shabbos, which Shabbos is the level of tshuva ilah, the higher level of tshuva, which is also done and accomplished through learning Torah. The revealed part of Torah and the inyan of Pnimius HaTorah. And in the fifth sicha, the Rebbe referred to the ones that have sent in mashke for certain meisters, that they are creating meisdes in regards to learning Torah or tefillah or doing gemilas chasadim. And the Rebbe concluded with the words of the coming parsha, which is the Parshas Lech Lecha. And now to go into more detail in regards to the sichas that the Rebbe has spoken this Shabbos. The Rebbe started in regards to the nigun that they sang, the nigun Zoshan Zayin de Gula, which this is also connected with the inyan of Gula, the true and ultimate redemption, which this is also connected, that then it will also be in a level of peace, in a level, as we say also in regards to Shabbos, Menucha L'chayu Elamim, as it is also in the Mincha of Shabbos, that we already connected with Menucha, as we say that it's Menucha Shleima, it's a complete Menucha, and it's Menucha Sam, their Menucha, which all Menucha Shalem and Menucha Shleima and Menucha Sam, and before that also Menucha Shalem and Menuchas Emes, Menuchas Avon Nedava, which all this is connected with the inyan of Menucha. And especially also that we are also coming from Parshas Noach, which Parshas Noach, the Medrash says that it's Naicha bel Yenim v'tachtenim, that is tranquility bel Yenim in the above, and it is also tachtenim in the lower levels, which means that every one of them is in plural form. That El Yenim, the above, has also has plural form, and also tachtenim. So this all means that there is a tranquility on all the levels, which this is the inyan of Menucha as the Menucha of Shabbos. And especially that we find ourselves in a year which the year is Hoyetahei, that the year which is the abbreviation Hei Tov Shin Nun Beis, which is Hoyetahei, that it will be, and Hoyetahei is also, when we say Hoyetahei, this means, as the Gemara says, B'hav Yosetahei, with its strongest potential. And it is Shnas Neflois, a year of wonders, and it is a year of wonders in everything, Bakel, in everything, which Bakel reminds us the three of us, as the Gemara says in Bava Basra, Bakel, Michoel, Kael, which these are the three words that our forefathers were blessed with everything in every matter, and especially now we have, even though that in Torah there is a certain order. First comes the Bakel by Avraham Avinu, then comes Michoel by Yitzchak, then comes the Koel by Yankov, but he said Yeshli Koel, but now we have all of them, and especially so we also have the third one, which is Yankov Avinu, which he symbolizes the third Beis Hamikdash, as the Gemara says in regards to Yankov Avinu. And it is also that this also reminds us that Bayem HaShlishi Yikemenu V'Nichya Lefan of the third day, which is the numerical number 3, which this is the Yikemenu V'Nichya Lefan of, which then will have also the union of Nichya Lefan of, the union of life, and life for infinite life, because it will be Lefan of, it will be connected with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Taking also in consideration that we are coming from the month of Tishrei, which is a month which has multiple Yomim Tevim, including also Shmini Atzeres, which is the day that all the other Yomim Tevim, the revelations of the other Yomim Tevim, are absorbed then, including also that since then we have already passed to Shabbos Breishis, and now so therefore, and Shabbos Breishis is known as the word, as the previous Rebbe has said, that as a person positions himself and stands Shabbos Breishis, this is the way he stands the whole year, which means that however way he positions himself in Torah, mitzvahs, and good resolutions, in learning in Yonim of Tev and Kedusha, so this is what continues the whole year. So it's a sure thing that since Shabbos Breishis, we have already a complete week, which in a few hours will be a complete week with all the hours of the week, since we'll have already the end of Shabbos Noach, so therefore we'll have 7 days since Shabbos Breishis, so this is the decision week, and the decision point, if already a person has placed himself on such a standard with such resolutions, and especially that we are also in Chodesh Cheshvan, which this year, as all is different than all the other years, because in other years Cheshvan and Kislev, sometimes one is 29 days and one is 30 days, and sometimes both are 29 days, and this year both are 30 days, which this shows that it's a full month, which this symbolizes the Aveda of Yidden, the service of the Aveda of Yidden, which a Yid also is similar to the Levana, which the Levana, in the same sense that the Levana has a full moon, a full month, in the same sense this is also reflected in the Aveda of a Yid. And all this is a preparation for the true and complete redemption, which will be, as the literal meaning of Lech Lecha Miyartzecha, going out from your land and Meladetecha, where you were born, and from the house of your father, going to the land which I will show you, which this is in Eretz Yisrael, which this will be in the true and complete redemption, and especially that we stand in the year of wonders, and year of the wonders in everything, in every aspect, and actually then a person will be able also to, and therefore, so standing now in the union of Chodesh Cheshvan, which Chodesh Cheshvan is the month between Chodesh Tishrei, which is a full month, and it's the month that comes prior and before the month of Chodesh Kislev, which is also a full month. So therefore we also do again the Kiddush Levana, which we did it in Chodesh Tishrei, and then we do again the Kiddush Levana, which the custom is to wait till after 7 days. So therefore we also wait till after 7 days and we do the union of Kiddush Levana, but even prior to that we already have the true and ultimate redemption. Therefore we do all this within the time period already of the Geula, of the redemption, and we also show and point with the finger, here is the Geula, that that here it is, and Zeh is also the numerical value of 12, which this is the 12 Shvatim, including also Levi, everybody together, and then we all go into Eretz Yisrael, and we go there by Nane Shmaya, as Daniel says, with the clouds of heaven, which means higher even and a lot quicker than running, because it is done by the clouds of heaven, and also without any special effort, since it is done on the part of the clouds, and it is Anane Shmaya, it is clouds, not just clouds, but also in their name they are also linked to Shamayim. Therefore, since they are higher than all the limitations, so therefore coming from Parshas Noach, which is tranquility and above, in the above, and tranquility in the below worlds and creations, We come then to Lech Lecha, to the true and ultimate Geula, which this is Asher Areka, the place where I will show you, which this is the Kodesh Baruch Hu also refers to, that a Yid is, as the Baal Shem Tov says, every Yid is considered a land of desire, a land of treasures. Kisiyu at the Meretz Chayfetz, and therefore Asher Areka, the Kodesh Baruch Hu will reveal what every Yid is, and what every Yid could accomplish, and all this will be till the literal, in the literal meaning, the true and ultimate redemption, and then we will come into our holy land in Yerushalayim and the Har HaBayis and in the Beis HaMikdash. In the second Sikha, which came, as an introduction to the second Sikha, there was a nigun that was sung before the Sikha, as customary that between the Sikhas nigunim are sung, and after that the Rebbe has said that hearing this nigun, which this nigun is also meant and intended, the Rebbe says that it's referring to him, so therefore the Rebbe says the proper the proper inyan that should have been done was to walk out, but since there are many people gathered here, and this will be the opposite of Sheves Achem Gam Yochad, which this is the purpose of Chassidische Farbrengen, that everybody Yidden get together as brothers, and they sit together and celebrate together, and in talking Yonim of Divrei Torah together, so therefore since it would disrupt the Sheves Achem Gam Yochad, so therefore the Rebbe continued further, and then he referred back to the Sikha, that he has to a mention that has been mentioned by him in the first Sikha, which that is in regards to Shabbos Breishis. That mentioned earlier that Shabbos Breishis, since then a week has already passed, and therefore a person has to take into account what has he done, and what standard is he on since the resolutions and the day of Shabbos Breishis, which this is the Shabbos that sets in tone all the accomplishments and all the Avedas that a Yid does throughout the whole year. So therefore the Rebbe says sometimes even a person needs to do the inyan of tshuva to fulfill something that he has missed, and the inyan, so therefore this inyan of tshuva has to come, even though it is connected with the heart, still it has to be expressed also in a practical way. And as the Gemara says, that regards to hirur tshuva, that b'shas a person had a thought of tshuva already since he meant it, and he meant it full-heartedly, therefore it is considered that he becomes a tzaddik gomor. The reason for that is, even though he didn't do anything practically, is because this hirur tshuva has permeated all his keichas till the keach ha'maisa, till the keach of practical action. So therefore this all changes his identity, and he becomes a tzaddik gomor. Which this is also in regards to the inyan of Shabbos Breishis, that coming from Shabbos Breishis, a person also makes a cheshbon tzedek. Where is he up to? What did he accomplish? And did he really place himself on this and put himself? Did he position himself on the standard of what is demanded from him on Shabbos Breishis? Which this is that how he sets the tone on Shabbos Breishis. This is what goes on for the whole year. Which therefore this is also has to be expressed, and not only in his thoughts or in his words, but also in his deeds. And even though the Gemara says, and it's brought also in Halacha, that a person has a cheskas kashrus, that we put it on, we have the assumption that he is a cheskas kashrus, that he is actually is a kosher person, a person that has done everything in the right way. So all this could be all this could be mentioned, and he can label, but not himself. He can all this with this he can label a different person, another person outside of him. That person, he should look up to him. He should look up and figure and have the assumption that that person has done and has accomplished everything that he has to accomplish. He's in the cheskas kashrus. But when it comes to himself, to his own very being, that his own accomplishments, so then it is not sufficient that he's cheskas, that we assume that he has feels that he has done everything, but he honestly and full-heartedly should be aware of it, that is not sufficient, but he actually also has to bring it down in a deed, even though he is cheskes kashes that he did good things yesterday, he did good things 2 days ago, but when it comes today, and when it comes at the present time, even though he did it an hour ago, still he has to also bring it down in a practical way, because this is Hamaisa. The main thing is that it has to come down a practical way. Which this is also in regards to the union of tshuva, that sometimes it also involves in regards to inyonim of gezel, that he has stolen something from someone else, till even the extent of gezel, which gezel in a very mild, which this is be'etzem, the union of stealing from someone else. A yid is not shaykh to that. And especially also there is in a milder form the level of characteristic of stealing, and that is that, as the Gemara says, when a person gives another person shalom aleichem and the other person does not answer him, so this is considered gezel, robbing from him. And even though the reason he did not answer him was because he is asik in a mitzvah, so therefore the halacha is when he's involved in one mitzvah, he is potter, freed from another mitzvah. Still, all this is only an excuse for himself, but this is not an excuse, and this will not change the situation and the feeling that the other person has in his heart as a result of this person not answering him aleichem shalom. Therefore, he would owe an explanation to the other person, explaining to him why he was not able to answer the shalom aleichem. Which this inyan, the relationship between one yid and another, is connected especially and specifically more in Shabbos, that in Shabbos all the yidden on the level of chaverim. They are in the level of chaverim, all friends. The Rebbe mentioned already in previous years in regards that we see it also in halacha, in regards to the inyan of Dmai. That in regards to the inyan of Dmai that we have to separate, which this is to give it over to the Levium. So sometimes it could be, so we know that certain groups of Am Yisrael are well aware of these halachas, but there are certain groups as the halacha classifies them with the title of Amoritz. Therefore they are not aware of it. Therefore at certain times they are not aware of certain halachas. So therefore a Talmud Chacham, when he goes into the house, enters the house of an Amoritz, he has to be aware of what he's permitted to eat, what he's not permitted to eat. And he is aware of it. When it comes Shabbos, so then, since Shabbos brings Yidden together, so therefore this is also then Yid himself is an Amoritz, will not say a lie then, so therefore he will not say a lie and say that he did give it over already, and he is already separated and given over to the Levium, to the Levi, from this inyan, but from this from this harvest that he has, but he would actually be honest with the one that comes to him. And then therefore a Yid is permitted to eat by him in his house, because he's actually then because it comes Shabbos. Shabbos changes the nature of a Yid, that he's eine meshaker, as the halacha is that an Amoritz does not say a lie Shabbos. Because of the nature of Shabbos. That does not mean that the person does not have a free choice because on his own. But the nature of Shabbos accomplishes that he, mitzad the nature of Shabbos, he's not prone to say a lie on Shabbos. Therefore, this is what brings Yidden together. The union of Shabbos brings Yidden together, that they can eat by each other's tables. And then even the union of Orchim, that even when it comes to somebody else, which this is as the Rebbe started to conclude the Sikha, all of us Yidden are Orchim, our guests. And then we come to Eretz Yisrael, we are guests in Eretz Yisrael. Then we actually become citizens of Eretz Yisrael, people that have settled and are living in Eretz Yisrael. But prior to that, we need to know the halachas of Eretz Yisrael. Therefore, we are still in the state of Orchim, still prior to being settled in Eretz Yisrael as a person that's living there on a steady basis. Because for example, when it comes to fruit, we have to know if we need to make a shechayonu on it, or if this is a fruit that Eretz Yisrael was praised with out of the uniqueness of its fruit. And after that, a Yid becomes a Teshav, and all the Yidden together come, and Kol Yishveh Aleh, Everybody is there, which this is that all the Yidden are brought together, and it becomes a true redemption, not only a true but a complete redemption. And why is it a complete? Because as he sees not only himself there, but he sees other Yidden, and then he sees many Yidden there, to the extent that he cannot even count, and therefore he comes to the conclusion that everybody is here, all the Yidden are here, and therefore this becomes a complete redemption, especially because the complete redemption depends on the completeness of Am Yisrael, and then we have a true and complete redemption, Bebias Mashiach Tzidkeinu. In the third Sikha, the Rebbe continued in regards to the Cheshbon Tzedek, to the taking a true account of his conduct in thought, speech, and deeds. So the Rebbe concluded that l'cheira this is something that can result in something that is not pleasuresome for the person. It is not convenient for the person. So the Rebbe says, B'shasa, but a Yid knows that all this is a preparation for Imdu Hochen Kulchen, that all of you will stand together and wait and completely ready for the complete and true redemption. So then actually this is he takes an account, and he's aware of what he has observed in 248 mitzvahs, and the 365 mitzvahs leisas are the mitzvahs that are called positive mitzvahs, the mitzvahs that are referred to as negative mitzvahs. And then it is also reflected in his limbs and veins, as it's mentioned in Sfarim. The Rambam also mentions it, that the limbs of a person correspond to the 248 mitzvahs, and then it is also reflected even to the extent that if Chas v'Shalom he needs a remedy because he has actually something in a physical sense, he has an illness or a defect that he needs a refuah for that, since it is just something externally. So then he also contacts a doctor, and the doctor gives him a refuah, and the refuah helps right away, even though in regards to the refuah, it only accomplishes for the future, but it does not change the past. So also here we have it that he changes also, that we have also the milah that it changes the past, since the inyan of refuah is connected with tshuva, as Chazal say, that great is tshuva, that it brings a remedy for the world. And the Rebbe continued that most of the people have a weakness in themselves, and the weakness is in the body, and it comes from the nefesh habamis, which the nefesh habamis throws a weakness in, a marashcheira, depression into the person, which this brings out and awakens also in the person a weakness. And the Rebbe continued in regards to the Eitzah of bringing Yidden together. So the Rebbe said especially that we have the inyan of Kiddush Levana, which Kiddush Levana is, now we are standing a Chedesh Cheshvan, which Chedesh Cheshvan, a person should be reminded Kiddush Levana, because now he comes from Tishrei. Tishrei, he was Mekadosh Levana, generally speaking, Mitzvah Yom Kippur, so he did it with everybody together. When it comes Chedesh Cheshvan, says then he might forget, and the mile of Kiddush Levana is that B'shas a person is Mekadosh Levana, Chazal say, it is like receiving and greeting the Shechina, and especially also that we say then the Shalom Aleichem and Aleichem Shalom, which this is bringing Yidden together. And therefore this is also that a Yid accomplishes whatever he needs to accomplish, whatever he was lacking in the Aveda that he, up till now. So he accomplishes in the inyan of Tshuva, and since we are now standing in Shabbos, so the Tshuva is done on a higher standard, on the level of Tshuva Ilor, which this includes learning Torah, not only learning the Nigla the Torah, and also Chassidus, Pnimius HaTorah. And also the inyan of Tshuva is Tshuva Yisrael ad Avaya Lekecha, that a Yid should return to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We mention Havaya, which is Yud Kei Vav Kei. We mention Elikecha, which is Shem Elikim, which one of them is Shem Havaya, symbolizes the revelation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in its fullest measure, and Shem Elikim symbolizes the contraction and concealment of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of the revelation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which both names we found in the beginning of creation. It's Bereshis Bara Elikim, it is Shem Elikim, because it was concealed then, the revelation was concealed, and Chassidus explains in order that the world should be created, so there was a need that the creation, that the godliness should be concealed. If not, the world would never be able to exist in its limitations, in its categories, characteristics. And then we conclude the Parsha Bereshis, V'neach matzachein be'enei Hashem. Over there we say already, Yud Kei Vav Kei matzachein be'enei Hashem, and especially also that in regards to bringing the in regards to the creation of the world, it says B'yem Haseish Hashem Elikim, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made heaven and earth. So it says both names, Hashem and Elikim, and this is especially when Mashiach will come, that's when it will be revealed that Hashavaya, that Yud Kei Vav Kei, this is the Keach, and this is the Echayas, an energy that's given into everything in the world, and everything is existing and connected, and with this Keach that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving into every creation, as it says also in regards to Te'ena, that even a fig and everything else will announce that this is connected with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And also as the Medrash says, which the Rebbe was also probably seemingly referring to, that it says that B'shas a person will come and take a Te'ena, a fig on Shabbos, so the Te'ena, the fig itself will scream and say, today is Shabbos, which means that the world itself will be connected and permeated with such Kedusha that it will feel and be and announce in the whole world, that announce to the person and remind the person it is Shabbos now. And that is because it is connected with the Chayas, with the life that's given into it from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in a revealed way. And this is also Havaya Hua Elikim. We also said it in Yom Kippur after we said Shema Yisrael once, and then we said Baruch Shem Kived Malchusei Leilam Vod 3 times. So then we also said Havaya Elikim, and the Rebbe said that we announced it 7 times. So the Rebbe also announced it in the same tone as it's announced in the Shul by the end of Ne'ilah. The Rebbe announced it another 6 times in addition to the first time. Havaya Hua Elikim, 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 Havaya Hua Elikim. And the Rebbe concluded L'shana Haba b'Yerushalayim. In the 4th Sikha, the Rebbe continued in regards to bringing down the above mentioned in a practical way. So this is the union of Hazman Groma, which this is what the time is, which means that the time causes it, that it's not only something that's in the time, but time itself is also urging that such an inyan should be done, and that is in regards to the inyan of Kiddush Levana. So the Rebbe said that there are many, the northern countries, so therefore they're also clouded many times in the winter. Therefore a person does not have a chance, a very great chance, in being able to be Mekadesh the Levana throughout the 7 days, from the 7th day till the 15th day. Therefore there is a need that he might not be able to wait for Mitzvah Shabbos, and even sometimes for the 7th day. Therefore he should ask a Rav, that he knows the nature of the weather there, and then he would, according to that, and then he would be able to judge and know how he should conduct himself in regards to Kiddush Levana. And the same thing is also in regards to the union of landing on the Levana, which this is a din b'fnei atzmei, which this applies to when a person gets to that. So then there are certain dinim that apply to the union of landing on the Levana in regards to Kiddush Levana. And the Rebbe says the main thing is that we are all now in the procedure of landing on Eretz Yisrael, our holy land in Yerushalayim and Beis Hamikdash and Kiddush HaKadoshim. The Rebbe has also mentioned in regards to Kiddush Levana that this is an union that also brings the redemption, the Geula, closer. And the Rebbe continued in regards to Kiddush Levana that that people are not careful with it, and he says that it could be also that sometimes it was because a person lived in a city or a street, that most of the people living there were non-Jews. So therefore, if he start going out with a siddur, going out to Kiddush Levana, and starting motioning with his hands and dancing with his feet, so this might result in a negative, in an unpleasant way for the Yid. The second inyan the Rebbe urged was the inyan of Cheshbon Tzedek, the inyan of Tshuva, especially now that in Chedesh Cheshbon we start saying Tachnun again, and a person has already become used to not saying Tachnun. In Chedesh Tishrei he didn't say Tachnun from the day after Yom Kippur till the end of Chedesh Tishrei. So he actually has to train himself again to start saying Tachnun, but this will be only for a while, because Otot Mashiach is coming, and therefore there wouldn't be any more need for the inyan of Tachnun, since the whole inyan was Mepnei Chateinu for our sins. And from Chet, it becomes, which this is also brought the inyan of Chela, the inyan of sickness. So a person, and Chela, the numerical value of Chela is 49, which this means the level of sickness in the spiritual level, that he still did not attain the 50th level, the 50th level of the gates of Bina, the chambers of Bina, as it was by Moshe Rabbeinu, as it says, Vat Chasreyu Ma'at Melikim, he was still lacking a little, but this was the 50th gate. And then when Moshe Rabbeinu was Nistalik, so he received Har Nevei, he went up to Har Nevei, as the Mezritcha Maggid explains that this is Nevei is an acronym of the two words Nun, Boy, that he also attained the 50th level, and this is so also with every Yid, especially also then he goes to Lech Lecha Ma'artzecha, that he goes from one level to another, and also he builds the Mizbeach as it was by Avram Avinu. And this is also especially that there is a, as the Rambam discusses it in Hilchas Beis Abchira, which the Rambam is also, as we also have made a siyum of the Rambam this week. And we started learning again Rambam, which Rambam is the abbreviation of the words Reveis Meifsai Beretz Mitzrayim, multiplying my miracles in the wonders in the land of Mitzrayim. And as it's told that he lived in Mitzrayim, and later he was his Aron was put on the boat, and it floated over to Tveria, and they understood that this is where he should be laid to rest, and this is also where he's going to get up at Chias HaMesim. And then everybody together with a healthy neshama and a healthy body, and also a refuah shleima to everybody that needs a refuah shleima in all the 248 limbs, which this is what we say by men, and when we speak about women and daughters, so then we do not mention the number of limbs, since it is in a different number, and all this, and then we all go on the true and ultimate redemption. In the 5th Sikha, the Rebbe spoke in regards to the inyan of mashke. The ones that have sent the mashke should go up on the platform, and in regards to the inyan, and then we'll also have the inyan of lech lecha, that a person goes ma'artzecha miladetecha, and he progresses, and it's el haaretz asher areka, to the land in Eretz Yisrael, and it becomes v'neimar amen, and it becomes baruch hagefer, blessed is the one that he puts his trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is his trust, and then he has the shluah, and in the same sense that we say that the shliach, the emissary of a person, is like the person himself, in the same thing is also in regards to that then we also have HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself.